It's Wednesday, February the 24th. Amazing how much difference a week makes. Last Wednesday it was like 9 below zero. But anyways, the weather's cleared up. The snow's pretty much all gone. All the ramps are clear. The lake, about 95% clear as far as ice. There's some ice in the backs of the creeks. A lot of the upper river arms still got ice on them, like from Kake on up into James River, Flat Creek. Kings River still has a lot of ice in it, and I don't know about Long Creek or the Upper White. But like I say, scattered throughout the lake, the backs of the creeks, some of them still have ice, but it's going fast. It was like 60-something degrees today with that wind blowing. It won't take long to break it up. But the lake level is just under 914, it's about 913 3/4. And the water temperature, it depends where you're at. I did get to fish the last 4 days since the cold let up. But the water temperature, anywhere from 37, I did find some 42-degree water temperature this afternoon. Now, if you get up against the ice, it's naturally it's going to be pretty close to 32, but if you get up real close to the ice, it seems to be about 35, 36 degrees. But the majority, it's 38 to 40. And the bite of the 4 days I've fished, I've had 2 really good days, 1 really bad day, and 1 so-so. But I've said it before, this time of year, when that water's that cold, then fish, their metabolism is real slow. They don't have to feed that much. And you can go and fish all day without a bite. And that's what I did the other day. It wasn't any fun. But the good thing is, when I am getting a few bites, I'm getting good quality bites. Now, I've been kind of mixing it up. The majority of my bites have been coming on an Alabama rig and a jerkbait. And I'm throwing mixed stick jerkbaits and some mega bass, but mainly mixed sticks, the Spro. And I can't really find a color that seems to be working better than another color. I'm not getting enough bites. Probably the one that's been the most consistent for me, good thing that fan wasn't on, I think they call it the Ghost Table Rock Shad, and then also it's a Pro Blue has been working good for me too. But in the cloudy conditions, I've been throwing a solid color like a Norman Flake, or even a Chartreuse and Purple. And as far as where where my bites are coming from, I've got bit, way in the backs of the creeks, all the way out on the main lake. There again, I'm not getting enough bites to put a real solid pattern together, except that the majority of my bites on the jerkbait and the Alabama rig, the fish are pretty much relating to either wood or brush. Now, out in the open water, I've been throwing little underspin and some little swim baits. And these fish seem to be on like main lake, what we call runouts, gravel points. Normally, where they're going to be in another 3-4 weeks before they move into spawn. But they seem to be out there in about 18 to 25 feet, pretty close to the bottom. I'm basically just casting these little baits out and reeling them real close to the bottom. And most of the points and the banks I'm fishing are pretty clean, pretty much just all gravel with a little bit of rock change. The A-rigs, I'm throwing one with blades, one without. And, there, as with the jerkbait, it's, quite a ways back in the creek, some on secondary points. The main thing I'm trying to focus on is like channel swings. And if I am back in a creek, I want to have deep water, pretty close. Because there was a lot of fish that were pretty shallow before it got real cold. And with the water temperature like it is, I feel like them fish, wouldn't have moved too far. I felt like they probably just went back out in the center of the creeks and suspended or gone down a little bit deeper waiting for that water to warm up. Now, I just mentioned the fish backing out and suspending. I found very few fish suspended. The ones I'm catching on a jerkbait and some of them on an A-rig are suspended around timber, but I'm not seeing very much of that. I've tried some deep fishing, some vertical fishing. I'm finding a lot of baits out in the center of the creek, some out on some main lake points. You know, the bait's anywhere from 20 to 60 foot deep. And I can find some big schools of bait like we did a month ago, but I don't seem to be finding any fish around them. Like I say, I can find, you know, huge schools of shad, and I've tried to fish under them, beside them, and watching on my electronics, I don't see anything that looks like it's got active fish, you know, feeding under them or in them. So for the most part, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to cover a lot of water because you got to fish pretty slow when you get to an area. I'm not letting the jerkbait, you know, set real long, but it seems like you got to work each piece of cover, you know, real methodic. Wind seems to be a big key. A couple days I didn't have any wind in the morning, and you know, the bite was really tough, but once that wind picked up, the bite seemed to pick up. Now, one of the days where I talked about I didn't catch a fish, never had a bite, I had sun and I had wind, which I feel is kind of ideal conditions for the jerkbait and Alabama rig. But you know, it just didn't happen for me, and there's no certain area of the lake I found any better. I fished from the mouth of Long Creek up to Campbell Point, Kimberling City in the dam area, kind of been all over, and I have not seen a whole bunch of dead, you know, dying shad yet. I'm seeing a few. There's a lot of gulls out flying around in the center of the lake and the center of the creeks. I think they can see the shad, you know, starting to get a little higher in the water column, and I think the shad kill's coming because I'm starting to see, like I say, a few, nothing real bad in any particular area. Seems to be about the same from one end of the lake to the next. Normally this time of year I'll stay out of the river arms. That water's a little bit warmer in the main lake or in the main channels, and even in the big creeks off the main lake. The water temperature's a little bit more stable. I think the fishing will be a little bit better there before it is up in the river arms. We just need that water temperature to start warming up a little bit, and like I say, it's going to be tough, but the good thing right now is the quality of fish. There's a tournament coming up this weekend, and now I expect there to be some really big weights. You know, it may drop fast, the weights, but I think there's going to be some big fish caught. It's just that time of year that the big ones start to show up. So, till next week, good luck, good fishing.